Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics on the Hindu's YouTube channel. As I have said countless number of times before, this is a show where we go into the backstories behind the biggest headlines in domestic politics. I'm Nistula Hebbar, the political editor of The Hindu, and I will be taking you through the show this week as I have done in the past. Now, this week was result week. Assembly polls were held in Jammu and Kashmir and in Haryana with unexpected results for the opposition in Haryana and some happiness at least for them in Jammu and Kashmir. But we will be looking at the 5 big takeaways of this result for the BJP and for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, for whom this was a very, very crucial set of polls. Now, ever since the June 4th verdict of the Lok Sabha elections, the BJP's below par performance and the formation of a coalition NDA government at the center, the opposition, led largely by the Congress party, has been raising certain issues in terms of its narrative against the Modi-led government. Now, the BJP's record-breaking hat-trick in Haryana, where it has been voted back for the third successive time, and holding its own ground and increasing its vote share in Jammu and Kashmir, not only showed that the BJP had recovered its electoral mojo, but also that the narrative that led to its below par performance in the Lok Sabha polls had been blunted. Now, through the mandate and 2 blistering speeches, literally they were eye-watering, they were so pungent, literally blistering speeches by Prime Minister Modi soon after that, one at the party's Delhi headquarters after the results had come out, and another via video conferencing in Mumbai. He left no one in any doubt that he was back in the saddle, both politically and in terms of wielding his authority on the narrative of public discourse. Now, let's go into these 5 big takeaways, as I said, from the BJP's point of view. The first big takeaway was that Prime Minister Narendra Modi declared that the Congress, which was asking for a caste census for some time now and removing the ceiling of 50% reservations in government jobs and educational institutions, was actually looking to do this just to divide Hindu society, fragment it, and therefore also fragment the votes, and then the society, and this was being done not out of any altruistic motive for social advancement of the backward categories, Dalit or tribal categories, but only for electoral benefit. In his speeches, he said, and I quote, "Today the country is seeing how the Congress wants to divide the poor on the grounds of caste. People with silver and golden spoons want to make people fight on caste," he said, while pointing out to a comparison of how the BJP had given OBCs, Dalits and tribal communities high posts, not just within their own party, but also constitutionally as presidents of India and as the Prime Minister of this country, Prime Minister Modi himself being a backward community person. So he basically said this because he was confident over the fact that the Haryana results had demonstrated that a large OBC consolidation stood behind Haryana Chief Minister Nayab Singh Saini in the polls, and the BJP also increased its tally in the 17 reserved seats in Haryana, 17 seats reserved for the scheduled caste in Haryana. In 2019, they had got 5 seats. This time around, they got 8 seats, and therefore they had increased their tally and thereby also blunting the Congress's narrative on Samvidhan khatre mein hai, or that the constitution was in danger, that the BJP wanted a huge majority in the Lok Sabha to effect radical changes in the Indian constitution, specifically pertaining to reservations for SCs and STs. The BJP's performance this time around, now that had hurt the BJP in the Lok Sabha polls, but this time in Haryana, that narrative has been comprehensively blunted. In Mumbai, Prime Minister Modi even pointed out that while Congress spoke of caste division in Hindu society. It didn't do so with regard to Muslims, thus preserving one unblocked vote compared to salami slicing another set of communities. So this was very, very sharp, and I think it was one of the first very, very blunt sort of articulation of by Prime Minister Modi of this, division of Hindu votes on caste lines. Now, the second big takeaway is with regard to the Kisan, Jawan and Pehelwan narrative of Haryana, which also has an impact across the country. Now, here the farmers who have been agitating for better prices for their produce, and aspirants for jobs in the armed forces were upset about the Agnipath scheme, and the wrestling community's agitation against Wrestling Federation of India's former chairperson Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh has been referenced. Now, the Nayab Singh Saini government took various measures, including increasing the number of crops for which MSP would be offered, then offering 100% placement to those having undergone the Agnipath 4-year recruitment period in the armed forces, and stopping party leaders from saying anything against Vinesh Phogat, who fought on a Congress ticket and who had agitated and leveled charges of alleged sexual harassment against BJP leader and, as I said, former chairperson of the Wrestling Federation of India, Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. As of now, these issues most urgently felt in Haryana, and a large part of the opposition's narrative are unlikely to surface soon. The third big takeaway, in my view, from the verdict for the BJP was that frequent charges of misuse of institutions like the Election Commission of India and even the judiciary leveled against the BJP-led government will be scarcer, since the electoral victory will leave behind a feel-good factor for some time. In any case, Prime Minister Modi has now openly said that the Congress is part of some sort of an international conspiracy to subvert independent Indian institutions, and therefore now the Congress will have to respond to this particular charge, and therefore that particular controversy is being moved onto a different plane of engagement. Now, he said that the Haryana verdict for him proves that people rejected such attempts, and these global conspiracies were being rejected by the people. He said nationalist Haryana has given a resounding slap to the conspirators. An important fourth takeaway, and for me as a political journalist extremely interesting, is what Prime Minister Modi alluded to as the Congress's parasitic or parjivi nature, of only doing well in states where its allies support it and coming a cropper when fighting alone against the BJP, which is what happened this time. The Congress was on its own in Haryana. It rejected an alliance with its India bloc partner, the Aam Aadmi Party in Haryana, said we'll go it alone, and they couldn't convert it into a victory. But as a junior partner of the National Conference, it is part of the ruling alliance, although the Congress won only 6 seats, only 1 in Jammu, where it's supposed to have its stronghold, and therefore pretty dismal in the view of many people. Now, this was Prime Minister alluding to it, was a signal to the Congress's India bloc allies, and more specifically to the Shiv Sena, Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray and the NCP Sharad Pawar, the Congress's allies in Maharashtra, and the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, the Congress's allies in Jharkhand, where polls are due soon, that you need to be more assertive against the Congress, and therefore basically creating a little bit of trouble for the Congress within its alliance in these states. In fact, several India bloc members have taken up this point. The Shiv Sena UPT has spoken repeatedly about this, that the Congress needs to pipe down its aspirations, or its presuming too much upon its past strength, and being pragmatic about how strong it is on the ground at the moment. Even the Trinamool Congress has spoken out about this, and we have a story in the Hindu detailing what India bloc partners have said about the Congress. So this is not very good news for the Congress, and BJP, of course, sowing a bit of dissension in the ranks of the opposition there. And finally, with regard to the poll results in Jammu and Kashmir, where the party, which was hoping that they'll do very well in Jammu and Kashmir and create some sort of a government formation effort if a sizable number of independents and smaller parties managed to win in the Kashmir Valley. Those hopes were belied, but the BJP did very well in Hindu-dominated Jammu. But overall, the National Conference Congress Alliance won. Even that can be a good news story for the BJP, which Prime Minister Modi, in fact, alluded to in his victory speech. The BJP-led central government will win international brownie points for conducting a free and fair poll, which saw a decent level of voter participation and where political rivals have gained power. So you can't say that it was a rigged election. So therefore, it will help at the international level to puncture some of the narrative with regard to Jammu and Kashmir. And since it was the first election after the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, this kind of participation in the electoral process was, according to Prime Minister Modi, the true implementation of the Indian Constitution and democracy in Jammu and Kashmir, and a fitting tribute to Constitution framer Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. This was another sly one at the opposition, especially the Congress, which kept saying that the BJP wished to subvert the Constitution of India, which they said throughout the Lok Sabha election of 2024. Now, it was assumed that a defeat in Haryana and the decimation of the BJP in Jammu and Kashmir would lead to an erosion of Prime Minister Modi's authority within his coalition government. In such a scenario, therefore, the opposite is also true, with victory and retention of support base adding to his authority. Certainly, his body language demonstrates that he has kind of regained a lot of his authority politically and electorally since the results of Tuesday. Now, for the BJP, the morale boost is necessary for the tough battle ahead in Maharashtra. Just upcoming, I think the dates are to be announced soon, and we will soon be into the Maharashtra electoral cycle. And therefore, I will be back next week to track more news on domestic politics. Till then, it's goodbye with these 5 takeaways. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you soon.